Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the blue room or whatever. If you hear birds, I'm sorry. If you hear dogs, I'm sorry. It's not quite over here. I've been waiting for that sound to stop for a minute. Also, I've been trying for a while to figure out how the hell am I going to start this video, because this is the first attempt at this video. You don't care about all that. I'm telling you about this movie. The movie is called The Girl in the Basement. This is a true story, by the way. This happened to somebody in real life. So it begins with this guy, and he has a family. He has his wife. He has two daughters. One of the daughters is like grown, high school age, not high school. She's like college age grown. Like she's been out of the house. But it's obvious that she doesn't visit often because the family dynamic is just like, it's not somewhere that you want to be. You feel me? So she doesn't visit often. Her smaller sister, she's the one who is still in the house. She's always threatening her parents, like, as soon as I'm like 18, I'm out of here, not coming back, y'all never gonna see me again. So there's this party, right? She asked her dad, like, can I go? Bear in mind, this man is very authoritative, very much. You're not leaving the house, very much. I'm the ruler, what I say go, very much. You're my daughter and I want you here. She's sort of rebellious, kind of like not about that life. She wants to go about her business. She want to do her. She just wants to be like, if the streets do what she does. So she asked her mom, can I go to this party? Her mom is more lenient, so her mom is like, sure, fine. But obviously her dad is like, you're not going. I told you she was rebellious, right? She went anyways. Like she snuck through the window doing what teenage girls does, and she left. Now in the night, her mom went to like console her and be like, that's just how your father is. Like, I know him, you know him, we all know him. It's something we're used to by now. She was not there. This girl came in the morning time. Like, I was like, all right, you snuck out, fine, cool. But she came in the morning, and the dad was sitting on the veranda waiting when she came in, and I'm like, you brave, brave. She was about to sneak around the back and everything to go in the house. Her father's like, use the front door, and he's very like rough with his talking, like, use the front door. She went in, like, she really didn't care that much. That now that I think about it, she don't care that much. So she goes in the house. The mom is there, everybody is there, like all that blew over. They had their little quarrel and stuff. Like, I told you can't go, you went anyways, kind of, you're mad disrespectful kind of vibe. So one day the mother went out. She just like literally went to the store. It wasn't anywhere far. The father, now he was outside. When the mother left, he asked the girl to help him bring something down the basement. It was like a box, some kind of container, and it was supposed to be heavy or whatever. Well, actually didn't say if it was. He was just like, help me move this to the basement. Obviously it's her father. Could she say no? Obviously not. Did she have a reason to say no? Obviously not. So she went with him and she went down the basement. But the vibe when she was helping him with the thing down the basement, I was like, no, I don't feel good about this. Like, this is giving me it's icky. She went with him. They went down the basement. When they went down the basement, child, this man locked the girl in the basement. She cannot see outside the basement, the room. Nobody can see inside the room. I'm like, like, what do you mean? Like, remember, this is your daughter. Remember, people are going to obviously be asking questions like, Where is she? Where did she go? I left y'all together. Why you so loud? Apparently that was the least of his problems. Like, he was not concerned, he did not care about all that. He's like, I got this. Mother comes, no child. Like, her child is nowhere to be found. He somehow, to this day, I don't know how, he somehow convinced her that, listen, remember our daughter, she's always threatening to run away. She's always threatening to run away. So what happened was that she ran away. I don't know how we could have been so sure. And the mother was like, she wouldn't have gone away without telling me. She would have said something. But somehow she allowed him to convince her that that is exactly what happened. So even though in her heart of hearts, she knew that that was not what happened, because as I said before, she was very close to her. She was very close to her mother. So if she had indeed, in fact, run away, she would have told her mother, and her mother knew nothing of her running away. So her mother was convinced that this that's not what happened. The first red flag for me was when this guy had his daughter in the basement, and he told her that basically there was nothing in the basement, nothing, like no food, no set up, anything of the sort, that for comfort that was in the basement, right? This man came back with a red dress and really looked his daughter in the eyes and told her that whatever she got when she was in the basement was, it depended on her being good. I'm like, what do you mean being good? What do you mean? But I already knew. He threw the dress at her, and that was the first time he R-word her. I was instantly stressed. I was instantly like, alright, this is where I sign out. This is where I, just stop, because it's a lot, and, me stress. But curiosity killed the cat, and I was very much curious, so I continued watching, of course. Only attempt I ever saw this girl make at defending herself, at trying to get out of this place, was once she had a can of tuna. She had a can of tuna, and he came down there. She had it on something, and she tried to stab him with it. That's the only attempt I've ever seen her make of like protecting herself from him. And I'm like, that was a failed attempt, and our word again. I'm like, wow, this is your daughter. This is a child that you watched your wife go through 9 months carrying, right? Cool. This is your daughter that you bathed, more than likely, brought to school, told her, sweetie, I'm gonna make you safe, all that good jazz. And here you are, you piece of shit. And I'm like, alright, cool. I see what is happening here. So literal months went by. Months. At some point she got pregnant. When she got pregnant the first time, I was all the way stressed out, and like, I knew this was going bad places, but I didn't think we were talking about years bad places. Apparently, we were talking years bad places. Years went by, she got pregnant. Pregnant. For her father. Her father. And I was like, what is life? Is this it? Is this really what we're doing? First child came. I'm like, alright girl. You had a whole child by your father. This is a time that you need to wise up and realize that if you don't do something and do something very, very quickly, we're going to be continuing this stream and going down bad places. So said, so done. Because tell me why this girl had a whole was it four children for the guy, for her father, four. And your mother was still looking for her. Her mother was a stay-at-home mom, so she had to like, she didn't have the money. She really didn't have the money to hire private investigators and all these things to look for her. I'm like, all right, fine. She's in the basement, and she's in the basement, and he eventually starts bringing in little stuff. So by now the basement is like a whole house. By now the basement as raw as appliances, as all those things make it a home. I'm like, cool, okay, I see you. And all this time I'm just like, what kind of person are you though? This is your whole child. He has his dinner upstairs, he comes downstairs to the basement to have his dinner again, to have family time, and she's there rubbing his head and doing all these motherly stuff. If something is wrong with one of the kids, he's like, you're the mother, take care of it. I'm like, by the way, this was when she was like probably like 16, somewhere thereabout. And he's telling this woman, because at this point she's a woman, she has lost all her childhood. He's telling her that take care of it, you're the mother now. And I'm like, wow, a whole life upstairs and a whole life downstairs. Wow. To some extent I blamed her, to some extent I didn't, because having been there for such a long time, eventually I know that she got brainwashed and all the fight was out of her. But I was like, girl, you got to do something. At some point, our kids have never been outside. Never. They've never seen rain. They've never seen sunshine, because this place is fully blocked in. There are doors back to back to back to back to reach to that place. At one point I thought, all right girl, you're going to get out of this. Rain started and the roof started to leak. She dug out stuff for the roof, and so the water would come in. She got a flashlight and she shined it outside. This guy was passing in the night and he saw the flashlight. And tell me why this man went out of his way, went to knock on the door, knock knock knock. I saw a light shining from wherever, and it seemed like somebody's trying to get attention. The fact that you said it seemed like somebody's trying to get attention tells me that you should have picked up that something is wrong. So now the father went downstairs, kick up the girl and stuff like that. And she was pregnant at the time, and she lost the baby. One of the baby actually got upstairs because she had to convince him that, look, there's too much of us down here, so if you send one of them upstairs, I'll have enough time to deal with you and stuff. And I'm like, you poor thing. He agreed. I was like, girl, this is your chance. She did try to take that chance, because she wrote a note, she put it in the baby's bassinet, she sent it upstairs. But the mother saw the bassinet, the mother saw the baby, but she didn't see the note, because the father saw the note before she saw the note. And the note was basically telling her that, look, I ran away, I got pregnant, but I'm not ready to take care of a baby, so I'm sending the baby to you. And that was what happened. So he grew upstairs, and the father actually loved that child. Like, that child got good treatment. The daughter had a girl child as well, and at one point she had like red lipstick on. Her father was complimenting the girl, and she was like, no, 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 take it off, take it off, because she was getting upset, because she knew that if he started to pay attention to her or seen her as a woman or whatever, things would have gotten out of hand, like very, very much out of hand. This man was so heartless. He would turn the air off, so they would have very little air down in the basement. And like, as I said, the girl's daughter had asthma, so that like she always struggled to breathe. How did they get out of this scenario? How did they get out of this situation? At one point, the daughter, she was having an asthma attack. The girl convinced the father to take her to the hospital, and this man was like, no. I'm like, you see that this child is dying, right? And he was like, no. But somehow she convinced him, and he took her to the hospital. When he went to the hospital, he was like, don't try anything funny, because if you try anything funny, this and that and the other will happen to your children. I'm like, girl, if you don't take this opportunity, trust and believe you ain't never gonna get this opportunity again. So like, this is your time. At first she wasn't even moving, and I was so mad. I'm like, girl, please, please, please do something. Eventually she spilled water on the paper, because he had to fill out paperwork for the girl, because every time the nurse would ask the girl a question, he would answer before the girl had a chance to talk. And she was sickly. Remember that she's been in the basement for years. She's now like 40 something. So she spilled water on the paper. He had to go get a next paper, so he kind of walked off, and she got up and she kind of took her time, and she was walking. I'm like, girl, if you don't run, if you don't move. And she started to move a little bit more quickly, and she went to the nurse. He realized what was happening, and he went after her. But by this time, she had already been in the embrace of the nurse, which I was like, thank you, Lord Jesus. I knew you was real. She told the nurse all that happened, and they got her children out. So now the mother realized that all this time her child was literally in the basement. All this time of searching, all this time of crying, all this time of the father convincing her that, look, her child was downstairs, but there was no way to find her, because it was back to back to back doors, and there was even a bookshelf in front of the door. Like, there was no way. The daughter, his biggest daughter, went down there once, and she did not find anything. I was so mad at the mother, because I know this man did something to your daughter. But if I'm being honest, I think she was scared of him. So the fact that she was scared of him, she didn't really push anything. So even though she might have had her suspicions, she didn't push anything because she was scared. Okay, I get it. You can go watch the documentary for yourself. Turns out the documentary was way worse than the movie. Like, if you can even imagine that, the documentary was way worse than the movie. When I watched the documentary afterwards, after the real thing, it was worse than the movie. And the movie stressed me out to the point where I was watching it, and I left and I just walked to the window, and I was like, I can't, I just cannot. So to wrap up, I left out a lot of stuff. So if you want to watch it, you can watch it and realize that I didn't put everything in there. I just kind of gave you the basis of what the movie was about. So if you're interested, go and watch that. You will be stressed, but go and watch it. If you liked, what do they call this? Whatever this movie, Make Up With Me, then give it a like, and I'll keep you guys up to date when I watch new movies.